you ready to master the waves of medical device product development? Well, wax up your surfboard because you are listening to Inspired by Imua. And here is your medical device product development expert, that Hawaiian-hearted hostess who will help you hang 10, Meghan Alonso.
And aloha! You're listening to Inspired by Imua, where we help you master the waves of medical product development. Each week, we interview guests that educate, guide, and inspire to give you and your product the skills you need to hang 10. If this is your first time listening, Imua is spelled I-M-U-A, and it's a Hawaiian word meaning to advance forward with passion despite rough waves. There are plenty of those in medical product development, but keep listening because each week we've got you covered. So I wanted to cover something today that some people have been asking me about. Last week, maybe it was the week before, I kind of teased it that I have this new training coming out. And actually, it's not coming out, it is out. So I have a new 3-part video series for you that's free, as well as this live training I'm doing that goes in a little bit deeper on the topic. So those of you listening that are in the midst of developing a product, or if you're listening and you have an idea for something that you really want to see out on the market someday, or maybe you're listening and you're a researcher and you are just tired of working with grants and you think, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if I could actually commercialize a product and get some funding to do that rather than being on the grant train forever? So I just kind of want to talk to you guys about that. And I'd really love your feedback on this too, depending on if this is helpful or also what else you're looking for. So I want to dive into, a lot of people think that they need a patent for their medical invention. So I'm titling this, How to Patent a Medical Invention and What to Do First May Surprise You. So I'm going to walk through what you might be experiencing here. And I kind of hinted at this earlier. So maybe you or your family member, you're facing a medical problem, or they are, and you think of a solution, or you're a researcher and you see a lot of promise in that research and you want to bring it out into the world. So you imagine that you've developed this idea already into a product and just people all over the world are using it. And they're so thankful that you decided to do something with your idea. And you're probably thinking, I can't believe this doesn't exist yet. Like, how is this not out there? How am I the first person that's thought of this? And this is solving a real problem, and it's certainly making a difference in your life. So why wouldn't it make a difference in others' lives? So you move forward with working on your idea and you kind of become addicted in a way, like all of your free time is consumed with this and you're tweaking it or changing it or just down in your garage working on it on the computer, just constantly looking at what you can do next. And so here's what not to do. You should not rush out and get a patent first, despite what you may think. And here's 2 reasons why. So I've talked with several people that have filed a patent as one of the first things they did. They spent lots of money, and then they spent some more money, and then even more money. Or maybe it just starts out as a little bit and then it grows. And then before they knew it, they had spent upwards of $20,000, $25,000, and they just had a patent. They didn't have anything else. So at this point, they've run out of money and their idea just kind of dies. It doesn't move forward anymore. So at that point, they could try to sell the patent, or, maybe they could still work on the idea, but they've just got to do it in little chunks because they don't have that much money anymore set aside. Or maybe this is you too. You start researching and then you just hit a wall. You find out how much it actually costs to get a patent, and you realize, okay, there's lots of research that the lawyer needs to do, and then there's legal fees and the filing fees, and this isn't even counting the the time that is spent just going back and forth and between you and the lawyer and the patent office. And it's just such a long process. And what started out as excitement, has diminished. And your great idea just seems like it's just dead in the water. So, what should you do instead? What if there was a better way to know if it's all worth it before you start the patent process? What if you could save yourself thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars? And there is. Just like building a house where we've got blueprints and then eventually a solid foundation is poured. And then the next step, they put the framework up and then the outside structure. You've seen this. And then the flooring goes in. And then you get to sit down and figure out all the cabinetry and down to what goes on the cabinetry, like what type of knobs and things like that. So the same process that you follow when you're building a house, there's a process for building a medical product too. And a lot of times when people just go ahead and file a patent as the first thing they're doing, that's kind of the equivalent of building the framework and you don't have a blueprint yet, or you don't have a solid foundation yet. So you're probably thinking now, like, okay, I get your analogy, but what is the blueprint? What is the solid foundation that I need to do before I file a patent? And this training I was talking about earlier, it does just that. So you can go through 3 ways to move your medical invention idea forward in 3 days. And like I mentioned, also, there's a live training after that where you get to sit down with me and it's about an hour. It's pretty cool. But back to the 3-part video series. So it's like it says, it's in 3 days. So you get a video the first day you sign up, as well as a guide that goes along with that. And then the next day, you get the next video. And then the day after you get that, you get the last one. So the topics that I cover in this 3-part training are to build that solid foundation, to give you the blueprints to move forward with turning your idea into a product. So you've got the different pathways you can take with your invention idea. And then the second one's the surprising role that sales plays and how to stand out amongst your competition. Then the last one I get into is market size. And there's got to be a market other than you. So I'll give you a little bit more details about that. So did you know that after you decide that you do want to move forward with developing your medical device, that there's lots of things you can do with it, like lots of different paths you can take? So what you decide depends on, how much time you have to work on it first versus do you want this to be your business, or do you want to continue doing the job that you have and then this will be a side business, or maybe you don't even want it to be a part of your business at all? And how comfortable are you talking with people about raising money? And are you going to stick with this all the way from research and development through manufacturing? I know that you really want to make a difference in the world with your idea and you're passionate about it. But I also want to remind you that no matter how much you want to make a difference and no matter how passionate you are, moving forward requires calculated movements and big business decisions. And these are unique to your idea, yes, but everyone goes through the process of making those decisions. So the first video, you're going to get a lot out of it personally, but so is everybody else. The process that they go through to develop their process. I didn't mean it to sound that redundant. That part's the same. So for the second video, and I know you're thinking, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm developing my idea into a product. And yes, you are. But did you know that you're actually going to be doing a ton of sales along the way? Now, I know that might come to a shock, but I'll explain. So when you talk with someone about your idea, you're selling it. When you ask for their validation, you're wanting others to say, well, yeah, I do think that's a good idea. I do think you should do it. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear, no, I don't think you should do that. Nope, that's a horrible idea. And if you are hearing that, then you start to think, well, why are they saying that? And what can I say differently that makes them think it is a good idea? And okay, to be fair, I'm saying this, and there's a difference of the way you talk about your ideas, the way you communicate your ideas, and that makes them seem good, but there's also ideas that are genuinely not good ideas. So I just want you to see the difference there. I'm not saying that you're going to beat this into everybody because that's definitely not the case. So, way before you actually have a product to sell, you're selling. Even when you're talking to your buddy that's got a 3D printer and you want to build a prototype and you're asking him, hey, can I use your 3D printer to do this? You're selling him on that. When you talk to the tech transfer office at your university and you want to spin off the technology and you're telling them all the cool reasons why, that's sales. When you're trying to get a patent and you're selling the patent attorney on the idea of working with you, that's sales. And you're definitely selling when you're trying to get investment. That's just nonstop hustling and selling. And the reality is, you sell plenty before you actually sell your product. So you need to be pretty good at sales. And what it essentially boils down to is you need to be good at communicating. You need to be good at explaining why your idea is going to make it, why they should invest in you, why they should believe in you, why they should work with you. This feeds into how you're going to stand apart from those who'd come before you and why someone should buy your product as opposed to someone else's, and why you should even move forward with this idea in the first place. Now, the last thing we get into is that this idea of yours can probably change your life or the life of someone you know. And then think about all of the other lives it could change if it was out there in the world for them to use. So, do you know how many exactly? Or not exactly, but an estimation. So, I'm going to tell you a little story here. So, when a corporation moves into a new area, like if you get a new Home Depot or a new Starbucks in your town, I can guarantee you that they've done research on a few different things. And the top thing on that list is how big the market is. If they have any doubts at all about if the market could actually handle their expansion, they don't expand. So I want you to think about this with your product, with your idea, with your technology. Do you know how many people would actually use it? What about each day or each month? Or where would people use it? Is it in the US or Europe? Or what about India or Southeast Asia? So, the more you know about your market, the better prepared you are to actually build your product. The better prepared the ones that are actually using the product or the ones building your product, the ones that will be testing your product in clinical trials, and those that will actually be investing in your product. They'll all be better prepared. They'll know more because you know more. So you definitely need to identify a lot of different factors in the market. And all of these three topics that we just covered. So to recap here, we've got different pathways you can take with your invention idea. We've got this surprising role sales has and how to stand out amongst your competition. And then market size. There's got to be a market other than because you want people to buy your product. So I get into these a little bit more in depth. And like I said, there's a guide to walk you through all this. This is all covered in that free training I have for you. So it's 3 ways to move your medical invention forward in 3 days. So the first day, once you sign up for this, you'll get an email with a video in your inbox. You watch the video, you get the guide that goes with it. And that guide also carries you through the second video on day 2, and then the third video on day 3. And I would love for you to join in this training with me so you can get your hands on it by going to my website. So it's imua-services.com, then the / thing, 3 ways, the number 3 and then ways. So that again, that's imua-services.com / 3 ways, or this is podcast episode number 52. So you can go into the little podcasts tab if you're listening to this on March 21st, 2017, or sometime around then, it's probably at the top of that podcast page. It might be a few down, but you can find it there at episode 52. So I'd love to have you jump in and do that training and just really accelerate your idea, accelerate that technology. And even if you're in the midst of product development right now and you're just early stage, you're starting, you're putting together your plan on how to get funding, you are perfect for this training. And then there is that live training afterwards. So go through this, you get another extra special bonus. So I will see you guys over there. And until the next episode, Imua.
Mahalo for joining us. If you're new to riding the waves of medical device product development, or if you've been in development for a while already, Inspired by Imua is here to surf with you. Want to be a master of the waves? Text HANG10, that's HANGTEN, to 44222. We'll send you the most common wipeouts companies make in product development so you can avoid them and reach master wave status. Again, that's HANG10 to 44222. We publish a new episode every Tuesday, so catch us at inspiredbyimua.com. Imua!